Hello, my name is Randy Williams. I'm the founder and CEO of Keiretsu Forum. We are a network of angel investors globally. We have 46 locations. Today, we're going to be talking about cross-border angel investing, the opportunities, the risk, etc. And I have a very special guest, Mahinder Chugh. He is the chapter president along with a team of 3 other individuals. I'd like him to introduce himself. That's the 42nd location of Keiretsu Forum. We've been fortunate to open up in India this last year and a half. Chennai was first, and then Bangalore. Now we're in Mumbai. So welcome, and we're going to be talking, we have 2 segments. For 15 minutes, we're talking about the ecosystem, what's happening in India, all the opportunities, and also I want you to brag a little bit about yourself and the team, because I'm just fortunate at Keiretsu Forum to always be surrounded by smarter people like yourself. So please, Mahinder, tell us about your background and also your team and also your plans, and then we'll focus a little later on exactly how to cross-border invest.
Thank you very much, Randy. Thank you very much for having me here. I love California, and we really love to be here. While I live here, I found it very exciting to think about setting up a chapter in Mumbai after meeting you, after interacting with you. My basic background is banking. I started my career with the largest private sector bank in India. I did project finance, and the highlight of my career was a World Bank project which I did, where basically we helped Indian companies go global, from technology intervention as well as advice and consulting, and we also provided some funding from the World Bank. After that, I managed a fairly large amount of funding coming from the World Bank, and I switched over to investment banking with JP Morgan. Then I was an investment banker on the M&A side with Lazard, a French bank, and then I joined Ernst & Young to be a partner, one of the youngest partners in Mumbai, to do basically corporate finance. I come to the US about 14 years back, and I set up a manufacturing operation for 2 Indian companies, and then I set up manufacturing operations for Canadian companies in India. So you can see my career goes back in terms of globalization, in terms of cross-border, both advisory and at the CEO level, manufacturing facilities in both parts of the world.
Now, also, local leadership is critically important through the success of Keiretsu Forum globally. I license the rights out to local leadership. You have a very special team, because you're going to be joining the synergies back and forth and creating that bridge across border. But tell us about your other team of 3 individuals.
Okay, my other 2 partners, one of course is my wife. She's my life partner, and also we were colleagues at ICICI. She has a venture capital background, so she wears the hat of a very sharp investor. My third partner is a colleague who was a partner with me at Ernst & Young. She's a chartered accountant, and she runs an Italian consulting firm where they help Italian companies set up businesses in India. Our fourth partner is a very bright young man. He kind of manages a private equity fund for HSBC, and he has done extremely well. Both of them are located in India. And to give you an example, in the past about 14 years, I have been traveling between India and the US. Almost on an average, I and my wife spent about 4.5 months in India and about 4.5, 5 months over here. So we are very comfortable traveling to and fro, and our 2 partners will manage the Mumbai chapter. As a matter of fact, our presence over here adds a lot of value to our cross-border theme.
Nice. Well, most decision-making for myself and my team here before we select a chapter president and their esteemed team, usually it takes 6 months. It took us 2 years, so I really respect you beat us up and we beat you up. But tell us why it took so long to get here, because you're here for training this week.
Right.
And the Nordics, we just opened up in Stockholm in the Nordics, and they took about 6 months before we decided, yes, this is going to be very synergistic for us to open there. But it took us 2 years, and they were here for training last month. You're here for training.
Yes.
So tell us why it took so long, and have you enjoyed the synergies and the training, and more importantly, the secret sauce of our membership in Northern California?
Okay, it's interesting that you observe it took us a little longer than your normal chapters. The reason being, we've all been trained as bankers, and bankers are a little conservative, but for me it was very exciting to see the process. I was very, very excited to see the Keiretsu Forum process versus, honestly, I have been to other angel groups, I've discussed with them, kind of analyzed fairly thoroughly, and for me it was not just setting up an angel group in Mumbai, but it was setting up an angel group which would focus on cross-border. I wanted to have the right team in India. I wanted to have the right set of advisors. And as I had mentioned to you earlier, very important to have a good tax advisor and a cross-border law firm who has experience in doing this. That's the reason we took a little longer. And we are very happy that we took a little longer, but we are very happy with the association of Keiretsu Forum.
Wonderful. Vice versa. Now, what will resonate? Let's talk about the ecosystem of investors in Mumbai, especially angel investors, because that's obviously our world.
Right.
So, obviously, they think globally much more than a lot of investors throughout the world.
Right.
So let's talk about, are they interested in investing in Silicon Valley? Are they interested in investing? Again, we have a footprint of 46 locations around the world. We're just opening in Pebble Beach right now. I guess they play golf also.
Absolutely.
But what resonates with them? Why are they thinking global much before some of my colleagues here in America were thinking globally?
Very interesting you say that. If you look at, there are two classes of angel investors in India. One is a very well-educated, most of them studied here in the US, set up a tech firm either here or in India or both as a cross-border tech firm, sold, made some money, and want to help the younger generation with their knowledge and experience. So these are the kind of, I would say, tech investors who already have walked that path and want to make it easier for the next generation. But there is another kind of investor. He has studied abroad typically, but he doesn't want to go back and run his father's business, who was like the old brick and mortar kind of business, but is very excited about the new world of tech investing, or maybe medtech investing or financial technology investing. And his dad says, okay, you don't want to run my business? Here is a check, go and do some angel investing. So these are the two kind of investors. Now, both of them are looking at the cross-border opportunity from a slightly different perspective. The second one is looking at it from saying, my dad has a lot of assets in India. I want to diversify from a currency mix and a geography mix. They also see very clearly that the rupee, the Indian currency, is weakening because the US dollar is strengthening. So it's good to have a family wealth or a portfolio of a currency mix. Secondly, many Indian companies recognize that a good back end in India and a good front end in the US makes a winning combination. The value of a combined entity is much higher.
Yes. This program, which is our 5th program, being taped here in Silicon Valley, and if you want to see this program, just go on YouTube. Obviously, you'll be showing this to your future Mumbai Angels. But also here in the Valley, we have so much leadership from the Indians.
Absolutely.
So how did that all happen the last 50 years? I think it's very exciting.
Yes.
You can look at Google.
Yes, yes, yes. What I see is that a lot of the large tech companies are looking towards India for resources, are setting up their R&D centers, and many of the Indians are flying to and fro, and just many of them are setting up smaller companies which are being acquired by the larger companies, basically accessing talent in India. We all know the immigration issues are fairly serious, and because of that, rather than have a lot of Indians come here and live on H-1 visas, large companies like Google, LinkedIn, all of them are looking towards setting up resources in India.
So my vision in creating one chapter here in Northern California 16 years ago, now we're fortunately and be blessed to have 46 throughout the world, is to create resources for our companies we fund. We have over 760 fundings, and a lot of our companies are getting bought before IPO. They are not getting a unicorn status. They may grow to 100 million, but they're getting gobbled up with a great return to us as angels. But how can we mobilize the great resources in India for our companies here and also for the companies out of India? How do we help with resources? I personally call it the mother's milk. People think it's capital. No, I think it's resources. I think strategic money is powerful, which we have at Keiretsu.
Yes.
We have over 2,500 members, and I always want our members to think resources. Yes, we are writing our own checks. I've made 53 investments at Keiretsu, but I always want to know what the company wants and needs so we can. Again, we have 2 gray-haired guys here. We have a lot of resources, right?
I agree.
So how can we help the companies?
I agree with you. I think my mom used to say, gray hair brings you wisdom. Right? But however, this wisdom really is wisdom when you translate it into action. I always believe our knowledge, experience, and the young minds and the enthusiasm that the young kids bring to the table, this combination I call mentorship. I think the greatest value that I see in Keiretsu Forum, both here as well as in India, like you call them resources, I call them guidance and mentorship.
Yes.
We work so actively, we've created an ecosystem between the institutions of higher learning, between the organizations like corporate, and between all of us who have walked that path. and guide these younger companies. And these resources are absolutely the mother's milk.
Yes.
Money is, yes, important, but more than that is the guidance and the mentorship.
So I personally think this job's not easy, but it could be the easiest ever been to be a chapter president globally at Keiretsu Forum, using the network effect. If you want, or your members want, deal flow from Silicon Valley,
Absolutely.
or from Toronto,
Yes.
or from Prague, or Stockholm, or Chennai. So how easy it is to select companies now to come to Mumbai, because I personally think still angel investors want to invest locally.
Right.
But think globally. Maybe 75% of portfolio is local, but 25% is global. How are you going to select the companies, or listen to your members to select the right companies to come to Mumbai?
I think the secret lies in understanding not just your investor membership, but understanding their future needs, understanding the companies which have been invested in all the chapters, and finding out that bridge. Like the Golden Bridge, we have a bridge in Bombay, and we believe bridges are what really connects people, connects ideas, thoughts, technologies. And I think the world is now no more a local world. You cannot live in an isolation. You cannot live in an island anymore. We are not just connected by the means of communication like technology, but we are also connected with the heart. And being connected with the heart is exchanging knowledge and information. I think that's what Keiretsu Forum brings to all of us.
Yes. And tomorrow, this is a 3-day roadshow, which goes on every month. I've been fortunate not to miss one screening, miss one forum in 16 years. And I just love this because I love knowledge, I love investing. But tomorrow you'll see me in front of our 100 members, and I'm going to say, who speaks more than 7 languages? And there'll be 125 plus members and their guests.
Right.
Well, guess who puts up their hands for 7 languages, right? The Indians. And then it comes down to one language. The American puts up his hand, me. So this is the first segment. We have 2 minutes left, and so let's talk a little further about the ecosystem. You know, geopolitically, a lot of things are going on. We have to worry about that. We have to worry about oil prices. I look at safe harbor. One thing unique about Keiretsu Forum, where I like rolling the dice, I like deep technology. I like trying to get to 10x, but I also like real estate.
Absolutely.
And so we have done in Northern California over 160 million in real estate, and that's been returning us, you know, a very favorable return. Without, I mean, there's always risk.
Yes.
But I personally love real estate. Will members in India and also Mumbai like the diverse deal flow, not just heavy tech?
Yes, absolutely. As a matter of fact, I don't know if you've seen some of the wealth reports coming from Credit Suisse and JP Morgan. They very clearly state, as a matter of fact, they say Indians are too heavily invested in gold and real estate. We need to wean them away from, of course, they say derivatives. We say technology, we say medtech, we say education technology. So to your answer, yes, there is a lot of interest in real estate. The only difference is it's still not as well structured from a regulatory point of view as well as from a sophistication of instruments point of view.
Great.
For example, REITs have just been introduced.
Okay, now let's hold off. We got segment 2 coming right now.
I get excited.
Yeah, I know, I love it. Let's close by saying we're going to move into how do we do cross-border?
Sure.
What's the risk? What's the opportunity? What's the pitfalls?
Sure.
So Mahinder, it's great having you here. Have you enjoyed your last week?
Absolutely, no doubt.
Great.
Thank you.